okay, I want to throw something at you,
Mm-hmm.
and this is something I know kind of triggers you, and I want to know because like I have my own thoughts on this, and I have like I see the points on either way, and you understand. You know a guy named you know who this is, like Grant Cardone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, his biggest thing is that to never, ever, 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 ever live in the house you own, and to rent the house that you're living in.
That's
Go.
asinine. Asinine. I don't understand the logic to that in any way, shape, or form. You are literally throwing money away. Why would you pay somebody else's mortgage and build their net worth when you could be doing that for yourself? It makes no sense. There is no logic behind what he says whatsoever.
That's interesting. So what I'm gonna rebuttal is what his, or from what I've seen of his argument, which I haven't done a deep dive. It's that, and this is interesting because I feel like this is a weird way to defend his position, but he speaks on that. Well, the houses you own, you're getting paid, so you'll be able to get paid for the maintenance on the house and all that stuff. But then when you're living in the place that you rent, you don't have to incur the cost of maintenance.
Woohoo. The net of what you have to pay for maintenance versus how much equity you're building, it's not even a comparison. Maintenance is minuscule compared to what you could be building for your future.
So why do you think that like a lot of what he says resonates with a lot of people, and he seems to be doing
Because
pretty
they're
good on his
lazy
own?
and they don't want to have to keep care of their own house. Being a homeowner is work.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to do repairs sometimes. You do have to take care of your yard or hire somebody else to do it for you. It's work. You can't just be lazy and expect your landlord to handle everything. That's the only thing I can think of.
You can't think of it. You can't steel man his argument.
Not in any way, shape, or form. It makes no logical sense to me at all.
I really wanted to ask that because I know like how you feel about that, but like
It's the stupidest
I know it's
thing
kinda
I've ever
triggering
heard.
for you. Really, you're going that far?
Yes.
This is the dumbest thing I have
As far
ever
as
heard.
as far as like an investment advice, yes, that is the
Oh wow,
stupidest thing I have ever heard.
interesting.
Makes no sense.
And we're not trying to give financial advice, just to
No.
let you know. But like, yeah, we're just having a conversation here and giving opinions. You do what you want. And I'm not trying to knock on Grant Cardone or start some kind of feud or whatnot. I know we're not even big enough for that, but at the same time, I just want to put it out there.
No.
Uh,
Not to mention, for somebody like him, you would think that he would be interested in tax breaks. You get that only on pretty much on your primary residence. You don't get that incentive
for sure, you don't get that
on the
incentive if you're renting.
even on investment properties or anything like that. So
Mm.
even if he has a portfolio or whatever of rental properties, he's not getting that tax break. The tax break is
But
on your primary residence.
Wouldn't there be a certain point where that certain tax break doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things if you have an empire like that?
No, I mean it is definitely a diminishing return, but I'm saying you are only getting it on a primary residence where you live.
Right. Interesting. Stupidest thing she's ever heard.
Yes, as far as an quote unquote investment advice or whatever he's like selling it as.
So do you think, in your opinion, like what you would do, because again, we're not giving financial
No.
advice, what you would do
Mm-hmm.
is if you did want to invest in real estate, you would live in the house you own and then just continue to buy investment properties.
Yes. And I would have a mortgage on my primary residence indefinitely. I would never pay it off.
Ooh, that's good. I want you to dive into that a little bit more. Why?
It's the cheapest form of money you're going to get typically. If you get a loan, cash advance, credit cards, you're even in this market, your interest rates are going to be exponentially higher on those types of things. Also, tax breaks, which once again, those are kind of diminishing returns eventually, but still, you get tax breaks on the interest that you pay. Also, it's building equity every month that you pay it, which once again, you're renting, you're having a monthly payment, no matter what. You never pay that off either. You're investing, basically, you're setting aside money that's building equity. Typically, about 3% every year, year over year, is the very conservative average from what I've been told that you're building. And then, every few years, do cash out refi, pull all that cash out, take it and invest it in something else that has a high rate of return. So you're using that equity to make money for you.
Okay, so you're saying like if you never pay off your mortgage
Mm-hmm.
and you continue to refi it
Mm-hmm.
and just
Cash out refi
your own
specifically.
Right. And so you could use that for repairs on the house or whatever you may need, or like you said, investing into other things
To
like
make
stocks
money.
or whatever to make money. So what you're saying is if you just continue to keep your mortgage, you're creating a piggy bank.
Yes. Because if you pay off your mortgage, which whatever, I'm not giving advice, but that equity in your house is sitting there doing nothing for you. It's just dwindling away.
Okay.
If you do the cash out refis, you could be putting that same money to work for you rather than just sitting in the house doing nothing.
Correct. So would you think that then if you are constantly making sure you're renting out any house you own, because if you own a house that's being rented, you could still cash out refi those.
You can, but typically the interest rates are not as nice as they are on a primary.
Right, but if you're living in a house that you own, okay, because if you rent a house, you cannot then rent it unless, we're talking about, subleases and stuff. But if you don't live in the houses you own and you continually make money off of renters, but also refinance those and cash out the equity here and there to invest in other properties, wouldn't that kind of make sense?
Yeah, you could leverage investment properties in the same way as the primary, but the primary would be my biggest one that I would never let go, and that is because of the interest rates are more forgiving. The loan to value options are way more forgiving. With an investment property, you can only have typically a max loan to value of 75%. And the interest rates are usually at least a point to 2 points higher.
Interesting.
So it would be harder to make that make as much sense as far as then reinvesting it somewhere else, because then the rates of return would have to be that much higher for it to work.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate you giving your